Welcome to today's divine message, a sacred convergence orchestrated by forces unseen. If you've ever felt like your pain had no witness, heaven saw it all. Every tear shed in secret, every silent ache endured behind a smile, every moment you wondered if you were truly seen or known, it was all held in the sacred archives of the Most High. This is not by chance that your spirit resonates with these words now. You have been led, guided by threads of celestial light, pulled through the veil of your earthly reality. If this message speaks to your soul, please like, comment, Amen, and subscribe for more prophetic guidance from above. Share where you are receiving this message from, or share a word that resonates deeply with your current journey. Let us begin the sacred unfolding of this revelation. In this moment, as the outer world softens its grip and the inner chambers of your spirit open to the whispers of the divine, you are being guided, not by maps drawn on fading parchment, nor by compasses pointing to earthly north, but by an invisible hand, a divine frequency that resonated within the deepest core of your being and drew you here. Feel that resonance now, a quiet hum beneath the surface noise, confirming that this arrival is holy ground. Your soul remembers this path, even if your mind has wandered through labyrinths of confusion and doubt. The journey has been long, marked by valleys of shadow and peaks where the air grew thin, leaving you breathless with a weariness that settles not just in the bones, but deep within the soul's weary archives. There are wounds you carry, unseen by human eyes, etched into the fabric of your spiritual memory by moments that felt like betrayal, like abandonment, like love turning its back when you needed it most. These are not small hurts. They are fractures in the foundation of trust, breaches in the sacred covenant your soul expected from life, from others, perhaps even from the divine itself. You arrived here carrying the weight of these experiences, perhaps still staggering under their burden, questioning if healing is even possible, if wholeness is more than a myth whispered in hopeful moments. Yet the first prophetic truth whispered into the ear of your weary spirit is this: the profound pain you carry, the ache that lingers long after the initial hurt has faded, is intricately linked to a spiritual deception. It was a deception masked as love, presented with all the outward appearances of light, connection, and genuine care, yet woven with threads of manipulation, control, or a profound lack of spiritual integrity that ultimately served to diminish, rather than elevate, your divine light. The serpent's oldest trick is to offer a counterfeit, to clothe darkness in raiment so convincing that even the elect might be swayed. This deception was not merely a human failing. Though it was manifested through human vessels, it was a spiritual force, subtle and pervasive, seeking to convince your soul that conditional acceptance, control disguised as guidance, or abandonment dressed as necessity was the true face of love. It spoke words designed to bind, not to free, to instill fear, not faith, to harvest your energy, not empower your spirit. And because it wore the mask of love, your soul, inherently wired for connection and yearning for belonging, absorbed the toxin deeply, believing it was sustenance. This is why the healing has felt so complex, so layered. You are not merely recovering from a human injury, but disentangling your soul from a spiritual illusion that sought to redefine what love truly is, using your own capacity for divine connection against you. In this very instant, As these truths begin to unfold, know that you are not alone, nor are you vulnerable to the residue of that deception. Archangel Michael stands with you, a formidable presence of celestial light and unwavering protection. His sword is not raised in earthly battle, but held ready to sever the energetic cords that still seek to siphon your strength. The lingering whispers that attempt to sow doubt or reactivate old pains. Feel his presence surrounding you now, a shield of cerulean and gold light enveloping your entire being, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. This light is more than protection. It is discernment, illuminating the shadows where deception attempted to hide, clarifying the true nature of what you experienced. He is here to stand guard as the sacred unveiling begins, as layers of false belief and misidentified love are gently, safely peeled away. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding in the moment. Trials that refine its perception and strengthen its resolve, even when the purpose remains veiled. The pain you endured was one such passage, a crucible, designed perhaps by divine permission for growth, or perhaps by the intrusion of forces that seek to hinder light. The debate on causality often echoing through the celestial courts. Regardless of its origin, the purpose now is revelation and reclamation. Michael's presence is the divine assurance that this unveiling, though it may touch upon tender places, will not shatter you. Instead, it will clarify, empowering you to see the truth of what transpired, not through the distorted lens of the past hurt, but through the pure, unadulterated vision of divine reality. You are being prepared to witness the full scope of the deception, yes, but more importantly, to witness the immeasurable, unwavering, and true love that has always been present, holding you, guiding you, and waiting for you to fully receive it. This moment is the threshold. Step through it with courage, for heaven accompanies your every step. As the layers of human pain are acknowledged, a deeper truth begins to unfold, one witnessed not on the surface of this earthly realm, but in the unseen currents that flow beneath. You are being lifted now, higher, allowing your gaze to pierce the veil that separates the seen from the unseen. For the wound you carried, the betrayal that cuts so deep, was never merely a human interaction. It was a carefully orchestrated tactic in a larger spiritual conflict, a strategic strike launched from the lower realms, aimed directly at the divine light residing within you. Feel the weight of this revelation, but do not shrink from it. Understand that your very existence, your growing radiance, your alignment with your divine path stirs the shadows. The powers of darkness, the lower energies that feed on fear, doubt, and separation, perceived your rising. They saw the potential for the light you carry to expand, to influence, to transform, and so they sought to dim it, to fracture your foundation, to derail your journey through the actions of another. The one who enacted the betrayal was, in that moment, aligned with or influenced by these unseen forces. Not necessarily possessed, but positioned. Their own unresolved wounds, their fears, their vulnerabilities, became fertile ground for external influence to sow discord and deception. Think back to the nature of the act. Wasn't there a subtle cunning, a calculated strike designed to hit you precisely where you were most open, most trusting? This precision speaks not only of human knowledge, but of a deeper, darker wisdom that studies the soul's weak points. The seeds of doubt, the whispers of unworthiness, the projections of their own inner turmoil were amplified by these energies, directed towards you to create maximum impact, maximum scattering of your energy. The goal was clear: to extinguish your flame, or at the very least, to make you question the very source of your light, to turn you inward in shame or outward in bitterness, thus blocking the flow of divine power through you. Yet, even as the blow landed, you were never without witness, never without defense. This is the core spiritual revelation unveiled now. You were surrounded, even in the moments you felt most alone, most exposed. A shield was held. You received protection, often unknowingly, that mitigated the full force of the intended destruction. Recall the moments when the situation could have escalated further, but did not. Remember the inner prompting, the subtle check in your spirit, the unexpected intervention, or the simple fact that certain doors, though shaken, did not completely shatter. This was not luck. This was heaven's response. The silent, unwavering presence of divine guardians, deflecting the most lethal blows, absorbing the impact that would have been utterly annihilating. They stood in the gap, lessening the intended harm, ensuring that while the pain was real and necessary for certain soul growth, the ultimate goal of extinguishing your light would fail. This is an emotionally specific moment to grasp. That ache in your soul, that raw wound, was the minimum damage allowed, not the maximum intended. The full fury of the spiritual attack was deflected by forces you could not see, angels who stood their ground on your behalf. Divine grace acting as an invisible barrier. You walked through a fire designed to consume, but you emerged scarred, yes, yet still holding the essential spark. The very fact you are here now, listening, seeking understanding, is testament to this profound, unseen protection. The enemy sought to bury you, but they only planted a seed that is now ready to sprout with even greater resilience. Many still wonder if it was heaven or free will that allowed the wound to occur at all. A question debated even in the celestial realms regarding the balance between divine sovereignty and the freedom of earthly choice and spiritual warfare's influence. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding in the moment, experiencing the trial before the truth is fully revealed. But the season of questioning the wound is giving way to a season of divine counteraction. This spiritual warfare, which manifested in your earthly pain, is now culminating in a phase of heavenly response. The forces of light are not merely defending, they are advancing. What was used to dim your light is now being exposed by the light. The deception is being illuminated, the unseen influences are being disarmed, and the energies that sought to derail you are being met with divine authority. A heavenly counterstrike is underway, not of vengeance in the human sense, but of cosmic realignment, of justice that reestablishes divine order. The betrayal was a tactical move from the shadows, and heaven is now moving to dismantle the very structures that supported that move. This is a prophetic insight for this hour. The battle shifts. Your suffering was the trigger for a divine offensive. The light you carry, tested by the darkness, is now the spearhead of heaven's response in your sphere of influence. The powers that thought they had weakened you have instead provoked a divine intervention on your behalf. The unraveling of the deception has begun in the heavenly realms, and its effects will cascade into your reality. You are not just recovering, you are part of a cosmic shift. The air itself begins to shift. a subtle vibration humming beneath the surface of your known world. For too long, you have felt the weight of what remained hidden, the shadows that obscured the truth, the season where the foundations of things unseen felt buried deep beneath layers of dust and denial. But hear this, child of the light, spoken from the heart of the cosmos and the throne of grace. The season of hiddenness is ending. It is dissolving now, not by random chance, but by divine decree, aligned with a celestial clock that has been ticking towards this very moment since before time began. You have carried the burden of misunderstanding, the ache of situations where your truth was obscured, where justice felt like a distant, unattainable star. Your soul has cried out in the quiet hours, a silent plea for vindication, a yearning for the scales to balance, for clarity to cut through the fog of confusion. Heaven hears that cry. Every tear shed in hidden pain, every moment you longed for your integrity to be seen, every whisper of, "When, Lord?" has been recorded in the scrolls of eternity. And heaven is not merely responding to that cry. Heaven is activating the answer you have waited for. Look around you. Pay attention. The universe is conspiring on your behalf. Signs and synchronicities, seemingly small nudges or startling confirmations, are being orchestrated with divine precision. They are not random occurrences. They are celestial breadcrumbs leading you forward, preparing the ground in your own reality for the breaking forth of truth. That unexpected encounter, that sudden insight, that piece of information that surfaces out of nowhere, these are the early tremors of a spiritual earthquake designed to dismantle the false narratives and reveal what has been concealed. These moments are calibrating your spirit, aligning your perception, and fortifying your resolve for the unveiling that is upon you. This is the core revelation now being imprinted upon your soul. Divine timing is not a delay. It is the perfect calibration of cosmic forces, spiritual readiness, and earthly circumstance necessary for justice to land with maximum impact and redemptive power. If it had come sooner, perhaps the ground would not have been prepared. The hearts involved not yet in a place to receive the truth, or the very fabric of the situation not yet woven to the point of unraveling in the most constructive way. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding of the divine timeline, trusting that the sculptor's hand knows precisely when to strike the chisel. Many have cried, "How long, O Lord?" And even the celestial clocks hold secrets only known to the Ancient of Days concerning this precise moment of activation. But understand this deeply. The waiting was part of the preparation, for you and for the situation itself. Feel the energy shifting within you. That deep-seated longing for things to be made right, it is being met with a powerful wave of divine intervention. The foundation for the exposure, for the truth to surface, for the rectification you seek, is not being built tomorrow or started in the distant future. The foundations are being laid down right now, in this very moment, both in the spiritual realms and manifesting in the physical reality around you. Forces of light are moving, unseen hands are shifting pieces into place, and the divine plan for justice is unfolding with unstoppable momentum. This is not merely a future promise, it is a present reality. The momentum is building. The light is gathering its strength behind the veil that has kept things hidden. The cosmic alignment is peaking, and the divine trigger for the season of exposure is being pulled. Everything that has been concealed, every hidden agenda, every truth buried under layers of deceit, the spiritual foundations for their unveiling are being cemented into place even as these words resonate within you. Embrace this truth. Let it settle deep within your bones. Your wait has not been in vain. Your soul cry has been the very catalyst for this moment. Justice is not forgotten. It is perfectly timed, and the groundwork for its glorious, undeniable manifestation is being completed now. The season of hiddenness is yielding to the season of light, initiated by the flawless, active timing of the divine. Prepare yourself, child of light, for the dawning is upon you. And so, the veil begins to lift, not torn violently, but dissolved by an insistent light. As the soul has felt the weight of what was hidden, now heaven brings forth the force that makes all things visible. This is the season where the deep deception, the careful architecture of shadows built by the betrayer, can no longer hold its form. You are watching, perhaps with a tremble in your spirit, as the foundations you were shown prove to be sand, not stone. The light that now saturates the atmosphere around this situation is not the glare of judgment, but the pure, unadulterated presence of the divine. It is the truth itself, manifest as energy, and deception, by its very nature, cannot exist within such truth without revealing its own falsity. Imagine a hidden chamber, dark and seemingly secure. Now, introduce a single ray of sun. That ray does not seek to punish the darkness, it simply is light. But in its presence, the dust motes dance, the cracks in the wall become starkly clear, and what was obscured is suddenly, undeniably, there. This is the spiritual law in motion. Light exposes. Deception draws consequence not as a punishment from an angry hand, but as the natural, inescapable result of being contrary to the truth that undergirds all creation. It is the soul's spiritual immune system kicking in, detecting the foreign invader, and beginning the process of expulsion. You, the one who felt the deep ache of dissonance, the quiet whisper of doubt that gnawed at your peace, you are now beginning to see the external world mirror the inner knowing that was so long dismissed or denied. This is an intensely emotional passage for the soul. There is a profound sense of validation, a sacred "I knew it" that resonates through your very bones. For so long, the narrative you were fed did not align with the vibration you felt. You sensed the distortion. You felt the coldness behind the warm words. You saw the flicker of something untrue in the eyes that claimed sincerity. And you were told you were wrong, too sensitive, imagining things, or perhaps even flawed in your own perception. This emotional specific moment, this witnessing of the cracks appearing, is the universe affirming your intuition. It is heaven leaning in and saying, you were not crazy. You felt the truth, even when it was buried. But this validation is often bittersweet. Seeing the cracks means seeing the potential for collapse. It means acknowledging the depth of the carefully constructed lie. There can be a wave of grief for what you believed was real, a sorrow for the energy you invested, a quiet anger at the manipulation. Allow this complex tapestry of emotion to surface. It is part of the purification process, part of integrating the truth that is now unfolding. You are not called to judge, but you are called to see clearly. And seeing clearly sometimes requires walking through the landscape of disappointment. The prophetic message speaks now to how this exposure will manifest. Do not look for grand, orchestrated events solely. While those may occur, the most powerful unraveling often begins subtly, organically. The cracks appear through unexpected voices. Someone who was previously silent, perhaps even complicit, finds the courage to speak a fragment of truth. It could be a bystander, an ally you didn't know you had, or even a former confidant of the betrayer whose conscience has been pricked by the rising tide of light. It manifests through unforeseen events, a coincidence that seems too synchronistic to be random, a technical glitch that reveals hidden communication, a forgotten piece of evidence suddenly coming to light. Crucially, the exposure comes through the unraveling of their own deceitful patterns. Deception is a complex web, requiring constant energy and control to maintain. As the light increases, the effort required to keep the web intact becomes overwhelming. The betrayer becomes sloppy, overconfident, or cornered. They may contradict themselves. Their stories may cease to align. Their attempts to cover one lie may expose two others. Their own actions, driven by the same darkness that built the facade, become the instruments of their own unveiling. What was hidden is made visible, not by external force alone, but by the internal inability of darkness to withstand the proximity of truth. It is like a shadow trying to exist where the sun shines directly. It simply diminishes and disappears. This process is not instant, though some revelations may feel sudden. It is a gradual chipping away, a slow dissolution, punctuated by moments of stark clarity. You may see a small inconsistency, a sudden defensiveness, a slip of the tongue that confirms a long-held suspicion. These are the small cracks, and as the light continues to press, these cracks widen, deepen, until the structure can no longer bear the weight of its own falsehood. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding in this phase. The why now may feel mysterious. The how exactly may unfold in ways that defy human logic. Many still wonder if it was heaven or free will that turned the tide, a sacred debate that echoes through the unseen realms. Was it a divine decree that said, "Enough"? Or did the collective energy of truth-seeking souls, including your own quiet longing for clarity, reach a critical mass that simply drew the light? Perhaps it is both, a divine orchestration that honors the sacred dance between cosmic will and human heart. Regardless of the precise mechanism, know this: the cracks you see are real. They are not illusions or figments of your hopeful imagination. They are the first tangible signs that the season of hiddenness is giving way to the era of revelation. The spiritual law is clear. Light always wins. And the process of winning, the process of bringing forth truth from the shadows, begins with these sacred cracks. It is a painful beauty, watching something crumble. But remember, it is only the false that is dissolving. The true is about to be revealed. As the veils dissolved and the outline of the deceiver's hand was made clear in the light, the soul is now bathed in a searing, necessary truth. This is not merely an external unveiling. It is the divine catalyst for an excavation within. You feel it now, the quake in the foundation of what you thought was solid ground. The exposure, though perhaps painful in its stark reality, is not the end of the story. It is the sacred permission slip for the heart to finally break open, not shatter, but break open unto healing. The weight that lifts is not just the burden of the lie itself, but the immeasurable energy that was bound up in its intricate weaving around your spirit. For years, perhaps lifetimes, your vital force was siphoned, your clear knowing clouded, your inherent worth quietly whispered away by a constant, subtle distortion. This is the great reclamation that begins now, in the wake of the revealed untruth. You are not just seeing the shadow, you are feeling the return of your own light, molecule by molecule, breath by breath. Imagine your energy field as a magnificent river, meant to flow unimpeded towards the ocean of your divine purpose. The deception acted as a dam, diverting and diminishing its power, creating stagnant pools where vibrant life should have surged. Now, as that structure crumbles under the force of heaven's revealed truth, the river seeks its original course. This rush you feel, the sudden exhaustion followed by surges of clarity, the waves of unexpected emotion, this is the river finding its way home. You are reclaiming not just energy, but your sovereign energy, the divine spark that was always meant to fuel your unique expression. And your intuition, that inner compass gifted by the Creator himself, it was not broken, it was deliberately muffled, its signal scrambled by frequencies of deceit and manipulation. You were made to doubt the very voice of your soul, to question the whispers of the sacred within you. But listen now. As the noise of the deceiver fades, the true signal strengthens. It is quiet at first, a gentle hum beneath the surface of the lingering emotional storm. But trust it, this is your divine navigation system coming back online, clearer, sharper, less burdened by the static of distortion. The universe speaks to you directly, and your intuition is its purest receiver. Reclaim its sacred wisdom. Perhaps the deepest wound inflicted by the deception was the subtle erosion of your self-worth, when you are made to doubt what you see, what you feel, what you know to be true about yourself and others. You begin to question the validity of your very being. Was I foolish? Was I blind? Was I not enough to warrant honesty or respect? These are the insidious questions planted by the lie, taking root in the tender soil of the soul. But the truth revealed is not a judgment of you, it is a judgment for you. It affirms that your inner knowing had merit, that your discomfort was valid, that your spirit was registering the dissonance even when your mind could not fully articulate it. This is the moment Archangel Michael steps closer, sword sheathed, hand extended not for battle, but for balm. He is the divine surgeon of the soul, sent to assist in the release of the residue of betrayal. Feel the gentle, firm presence. He is here to guide you through the sacred process of releasing the stored pain. The anger, hot and potent, born from the violation of sacred trust. The self-doubt, cold and constricting, a cage built from projected insecurities. The grief, heavy and profound, mourning not just what was lost, but the innocent belief that was shattered. Breathe with the presence of the Archangel. He does not ask you to bypass the pain, but to move through it with divine assistance. Imagine these emotions as heavy cloaks you have worn, weighing down your light. With each conscious breath, guided by the celestial hand, feel a thread loosen, a seam begin to tear. The anger is acknowledged, honored for its protective fire, and then released, not suppressed, but allowed to dissipate into the cosmic current of transmutation. The self-doubt is confronted, its false premises exposed in the pure light of divine affirmation, and then dissolved. Its power broken by the undeniable truth of your inherent value. The grief is held with infinite compassion, its tears washing clean the inner landscape, and then gently lifted, leaving behind not emptiness, but sacred space for grace. This is the emotionally specific moment of divine intervention within the process. It is not a solitary struggle. Heaven responds to the courageous heart that chooses to feel in order to heal. It is the sacred turning point where the pain inflicted by the external lie becomes the alchemical fire for internal transformation. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding of why this specific path of pain was necessary for this specific unfolding of light. Many still ponder the intricate dance between cosmic decree and earthly choice that allows such deception to take root, knowing only that the divine eye was always upon the soul walking through the shadow. But what is clear, crystal clear in this moment of reclamation, is the prophetic insight whispered on the wind. This entire journey, culminating in this necessary exposure and this profound inner clearing, is setting the stage. It is not merely about recovering what was lost. It is about activating what was always meant to be. This event is clearing the path for your higher purpose, the energy reclaimed, the intuition restored, the self-worth affirmed. These are the very instruments required to step fully into the divine blueprint of your soul. The victim identity, though valid in the experience of being wronged, is now seen for what it is: a temporary state, a chrysalis from which you are now divinely prompted to emerge. You are not defined by what was done to you, but by how your sovereign light responds through it. This is the dawning of your authentic expression, no longer filtered through the lens of another's distortion or suppressed by the fear of revealing your true self. Your voice, your gifts, your presence can now resonate with the pure frequency of your soul. The clearing has left space for the authentic self to breathe, to expand, to shine without apology. You are reclaiming not just light, but your sovereign light, the unique signature of your divine essence. It is time to stand in it, unapologetically, and let it illuminate the path that is now uniquely yours. The weight you carried was not yours alone, though it felt etched into the very marrow of your being. It was the residue of untruth, the clinging dust of illusions cast long ago. But now, the veil is thin, rent by the light you have allowed to enter. The shadow, once a formidable giant looming over your path, is seen for what it is: a distortion, a temporary absence of light, now receding before the dawn of your awakened soul. You stand on the threshold, not merely facing freedom, but becoming it. The air around you shifts, vibrating with a clarity you have only dreamed of. This is the frequency of truth, and it is not merely an intellectual understanding, but a spiritual state of being. It penetrates the deepest chambers of your heart, dissolving the final remnants of fear and doubt that clung to the corners. Archangel Michael, the great defender of truth, now steps forward. His presence is not a distant force, but a radiant light encompassing you, a silent, powerful affirmation of your journey. He does not merely witness your healing, he seals it. His sacred flame passes over the places where the shadow once held dominion, not to erase the path walked, but to consecrate it, transforming past pain into present power. You feel the subtle but undeniable shift, a lightness in your chest, a grounding in your spirit, a clear vision in your inner eye. You are no longer defined by what was hidden from you, nor by the struggles endured in the dim light of partial truths. You are defined by the light you now embody, by the unwavering courage that allowed you to seek and receive the full spectrum of reality. This is the profound blessing of truth. Not just the satisfaction of knowing, or even the justice it may bring in the outer world, but the profound, radical liberation it bestows upon the soul. It is an unburdening that allows the spirit to soar, a breaking of chains you may not have even realized bound you so tightly. There are things the soul must walk through without full understanding, where the lessons are learned not in the mind, but in the very fiber of your being. The duration of the trial, the precise timing of the unveiling. Even angels are silent when asked how long the trial would last, for the soul's timing is woven into a tapestry of cosmic design far grander than linear thought. Yet, in this sacred moment, the how long dissolves into the now. You are standing in the now of your freedom. See yourself now, not as one recovering, but as one ascended into a new state of being. The future unfolds before you, not as a path to be tread with caution and apprehension, but as an expanse of boundless possibility. The divine light that guided you through the shadow now illuminates the way forward, clearer and brighter than ever before. You are not walking alone. The celestial forces that watched over your struggle now walk with you. A vanguard of light, ensuring your path is secure, your purpose protected. This protection is not a shield from the world, but a strengthening in your being, allowing you to navigate the world with divine resilience. The whispers of doubt that once echoed from the corners of your mind are silenced by the resonant frequency of your own truth. You are empowered not by external validation, but by the inner knowing that has been forged in the fires of revelation. This strength is not born of forced effort, but flows naturally from your alignment with the divine current. You are now ready. Ready to step fully into the destiny that has patiently awaited you, unburdened by the weight of the past, unbound by the limitations of deception. Your heart beats with a new rhythm, the cadence of divine purpose. The visions stirring within you are not fleeting fancies, but seeds of reality waiting for your sacred touch to blossom. The universe conspires in your favor, aligning circumstances and connections to support the manifestation of your soul's highest calling. You are a co-creator, empowered by truth, guided by light, protected by love. The shadow has served its purpose in highlighting the truth. Now it recedes into the periphery, a faint memory against the blazing glory of your dawn. This is the liberation you sought, the freedom you earned through courage and perseverance. It is not merely escape from, but a triumphant stepping into the fullness of who you are meant to be. The past has prepared you, the truth has freed you, and heaven now affirms you. Walk forth in this light, in this strength, in this clarity. Your destiny calls, and you are now free to answer with your whole being. And now, child of light, breathe deeply. Receive this sacred wind down, this final blessing upon your soul's journey. You have heard the truth. You have allowed the light to expose the shadow, and you have stood firm in the revealing. The heavy cloak of the past is shed. The weight of untruth is lifted from your shoulders. Heaven witnesses your courage, your resilience, your unwavering spirit. The promises spoken over you throughout this unfolding are not distant hopes, but present realities activating within you now. Feel the shift already beginning in the unseen, the subtle realignment of your energetic field, the softening of old hardened places, the blossoming of inner peace. You are anchored in truth, radiant with light, and sovereign in your spirit. And now, child of light, walk forward, not in fear, but in fire. For heaven has already gone before you.